Good afternoon and welcome to another Facebook Live event where we're talking about all things apprentices. My name is Emma Wood and I am the Talent Acquisition Partner and I support the recruitment of all our UK apprenticeship programmes. So today we're going to be talking to some apprentices that are working here at AstraZeneca and asking them to tell us a little bit about what a typical day looks like for them. So I've got three apprentices here with me on the sofa, and we've also got a special guest appearance by Angela, who's with us in live from Cambridge. So what I'm going to do now, guys, if I can ask you to introduce yourselves. So Angela, can I come to you first? Could you tell us what programme you're currently doing, what you're studying, and what attracted you to AstraZeneca and why you chose an apprenticeship over going to university, please?
Yeah, hello. Like you said, my name's Angela. I'm doing like a level 5 laboratory scientist apprenticeship. I'm working for a department called cell culture and fermentation, which is like a little part of the biopharmaceutical development group in AstraZeneca. So in terms of so CCFS is made up of 5 different departments, which is and I've had the opportunity to go through 2 of them, which is EES, which is early expression supply, which deals with DNA precipitation or extracting DNA from E. coli cells and then transiently expressing those DNAs into CHO cells, and also had the opportunity to work for a really cool group called Cell Line Development, with a little within that group, the host matrix team, which deals with kind of evolving the already existing hosts we have. And what really attracted me to AstraZeneca is mainly the exposure and the experience, just being able to see what it's like in the scientific world. And AstraZeneca has and is making a very big difference out there in terms of drug discovery and impacting patients. So I believe being a part of this company kind of provides me the opportunity to learn and see how things are working in the industry, and also be a part of making change as well, global change as well. And you asked why not uni? I'm a very practical learner, so I would like to have what I'm studying physically, like taking in projects that links to what I'm studying. So it helps me understand and like the process of how things are going, and that's
Great. Thanks, Angela. That's really interesting to hear. So, guys, can I come to you now? Scott, can I come to you first?
Absolutely.
So, same question. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing at the moment, what programme you're on, and what attracted you to AstraZeneca initially, and why you chose an apprenticeship over going to university.
Of course. So, hi guys, I'm Scott and I'm 19. I joined AstraZeneca about a year and a half ago, straight out of sixth form. So, as I say, learning HR down in Cambridge, so I've travelled up today.
Yep.
And I'm on a 2-year apprenticeship programme, which is rotational. So, I've spent a year so far working in 2 different sides. I was working 2 days a week in one and 2 days a week in the other, and then the other day was for studying. So I study virtually using a company, and I study the CIPD, which is a HR specific qualification. So in terms of what attracted me to AstraZeneca, I had a friend that applied to GSK for a very similar apprenticeship that I was sort of going for, and it sort of really opened my eyes to what was possible. I didn't even know that there were apprenticeships on offer for the R&D side of the business, which is what I initially applied for. So that really opened me up to the possibilities, and I was 2 weeks away from actually going to university, and I decided against going because of the opportunities that were available. You've got great career paths and great career prospects working for such a global company with such a good reputation as well. And also the opportunity to earn while learning is always an added bonus.
Yeah, great, thank you. Rebecca, can I come to you now? So same questions to you. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing and the programme that you're on, and what attracted you to AZ.
Yeah, sure. So hi, I'm Rebecca. I've actually finished an apprenticeship scheme here with AstraZeneca. So I've been at AZ since September 2016. So I've completed a level 5 laboratory scientist apprenticeship. However, I'm still studying. I'm now studying for my bachelor's degree in chemical science. So what attracted me to AstraZeneca was a bit like it's been said before, it's a global company and there's so many opportunities. Something that was important to me for quite a few years now is possibly working abroad and experiencing a different culture. So we have that opportunity here at AstraZeneca with sites all over the world. Also the industry experience, so I've obviously got three and a half years of industry experience, whereas if someone similar age to me came out of uni, they might just have at the most 1 year experience from their university course. So again, it puts me in a much better state for my career ahead.
Moving forward.
Yeah.
So why did you initially choose an apprenticeship over university?
So I was in a similar position. I'd applied to uni, but that was more of a backup option. I sort of knew I wanted to do an apprenticeship because I again, am a more practical learner. I like to be more hands-on to consolidate the knowledge that we learn in the classroom.
Yeah, okay, great, thank you. And finally, Josh, over to you.
Yeah,
so same questions to you.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Josh, and again I joined straight out of A-levels to do the apprenticeship scheme. So I'm an IT apprentice, currently studying digital technology solutions at Manchester Met University. So I'm currently working as a project manager, and so in our scheme we get an opportunity to rotate around different jobs periodically, so we can sort of see what we like to do. So previously I've done other roles, and now in my third rotation. So what attracted me to AstraZeneca was I actually did work experience here when I was at high school, and from that I got an opportunity to see the culture, and having spoken to people who worked for the company, it was something that a lot of people have said was a massive part of the company. It was a really nice culture and a great place to work, which I found that I instantly loved it, and instantly loved working for such a big company that does what it does for patients.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, why I came for an apprenticeship rather than applying for uni. I had the same boat as Rebecca and Scott. I'd applied for universities, I got all of the applications done, but I think there was just far more benefits from an apprenticeship where you're getting your degree as well as getting the working experience. In our industry, it's massively important as well.
Yeah, okay, great, lovely, thank you very much. So just a reminder to anybody watching us live, please do feel free to get involved and add any questions or comments that you want to make, and we'll answer those questions at the end of this session. So I really just now want to come to you all individually, if that's okay, and get you to give us a bit of an insight into what a typical day looks like for you guys. Just to really explain what variety and exposure to projects and senior leaders potentially that you might come into contact. So Rebecca, can I come to you first, please?
Yeah, sure.
So can you talk a little bit about what you're doing at the moment and the types of activities that you're getting involved in?
Yeah, sure. So I'm based here in Macclesfield. I've actually moved out, which is one thing the apprenticeship scheme allows you to do, because obviously you're earning a salary. So I now live in Macclesfield as well. So luckily for me, it only takes me about 5 minutes to commute into work. Very, very handy. So again, I'll get in the morning. I tend to do an earlier shift, about 7 till 3. And
we can be flexible with the hours, can't we?
Yeah, we can be flexible. Okay. So I could do a 10-6 if I wanted to. But yeah, so I'm based in the Biopharm group in product development, so that's more of a research side of the business. Again, I work in a much smaller group, so my role is very specialised. We're actually leading the pharmaceutical industry in the work that we do, which is advanced in vitro dissolution. So my day it can differ quite a lot through the week. Actually, I can spend a majority of my day in the laboratory, or more of my day in meetings and things like that, and it's working with lots of different people for different projects. Because of the nature of the job, I support the global portfolio for oral pharmaceuticals, so again getting a wide exposure of how the company works, which is I've really enjoyed and has led me to lots of different opportunities. And
Great.
things.
Okay. So one question I've got is any hint or tip that you would want to share with anybody thinking about applying that you wish you'd have known before you joined?
I think definitely my biggest tip is don't be afraid to ask questions. I was always quite hesitant and not very confident about speaking out, and I often thought that what I had to say was sort of like a stupid question, but no questions are stupid, as often as it's said. People are more than happy to help,
Yeah.
so just speak out.
And you've now got the benefit of hindsight, haven't you? You've finished
Yeah.
your apprenticeship programme and you're working, permanently with AstraZeneca. So sort of what do you feel the benefits of that apprenticeship programme have given you in order for you to carry on working with AstraZeneca? Now you've got that benefit of hindsight, which these guys don't yet have.
Yeah, I think the apprenticeship schemes that we have here at AZ are very tailored towards giving you the right amount of support.
Okay.
So although you've come out of A levels, you're still given sort of the freedom to plan your own day and things like that. But whenever you have a question or you need a bit more help with a certain project, for example, there's so many people around you that are more than happy to help.
Yeah.
And I think through that that guidance, my confidence has grown so much,
Yeah.
like compared to how I feel if I'd have gone through the university route
Yeah.
and come to a pharmaceutical company.
Yeah,
now.
at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Definitely.
lovely. Thank you, Rebecca. Josh, can I come to you now then?
Yep.
So talk to us a little bit about the programme that you're on. You're on the IT programme.
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about what you're doing, what your day-to-day activities look like, and the types of meetings and things that you get involved in.
Yeah. So when I typically come in, it'll be have my breakfast at the desk, catch up on emails, check what's happened since I last logged on, and because we're a global company, obviously there'll be emails going out throughout the night. So sort of catch up on what's happened, and then my day will generally have a few meetings in it at minimum. So at the minute, these meetings might be as I'm in a new role, looking at solution architect reports and checking up on those reports, making sure everything's in them that they need to be, and catching up with the team on a project to make sure they're on track with what they've said they can deliver, and looking at those sorts of things. As well as that, sometimes we'll have a catch up in the morning with different people, whether that be somebody from our team or somebody from the programme that's supporting us. So I'll have that sort of in throughout the day, and then I'll have my own work to be doing, which can either be around the work that I've got for my job, so organising meetings for different people, or having some code to write of my own as well, and then sometimes it'll be doing my uni work throughout my day as well. So at the minute, this week I've been doing a lot of university work during the day with assignment deadlines that we have.
So the meetings that you just mentioned there, do you chair those meetings, or you go along as part of the team for that meeting?
So it can differ. For certain meetings, I will be chairing them, and it'll be sort of we're given the freedom and opportunity to sort of lead those meetings and just see how they go forward.
Yeah.
In other times, it'll be a case of you might have an input, but you're not leading it as much because it's things you can learn from a bit more. But either way, they're both massively beneficial for us to grow. And
Yeah. Okay. So you were on your second rotation, did you say?
I've just started my third.
Third rotation, sorry. So how have you talk to me a little bit about how that buddy and mentor process works, because we've talked about that on some of the other Facebook Live events about the support that you get being an apprentice, and you get a buddy and a mentor. So how does that whole relationship work? Do you see them every day, or how talk to us about that?
Yeah, so for us, we have a buddy and a mentor, and we decide how frequently we want to see them.
Okay.
So the idea of the buddy is they're a little bit more informal. You can go to them with any issues you're having, sort of, that you don't feel you can talk to your manager about.
So who is a buddy then?
It
Would
could
that be another apprentice?
another apprentice,
Okay.
or anybody in the business who wants to.
Okay.
But a lot of us have other apprentices.
Yeah.
And so I see my buddy on a weekly basis, and we just catch up on what's happening in the week, how things are going at university, and if there's any issues that I'm having, or if I just want to chat about anything in general. And then I see my mentor once a month.
And your mentor is who? What's the type of person?
Again, it can be anybody. I've got a former apprentice
Okay.
as my mentor, but a lot of the time it's sometimes more senior people in the business who have a much wider understanding of how the company works.
Yeah.
And they are really useful for giving us information about how like the best way to rotate, sort of different rotations to pick, how we like think about the organisation and what we're doing in our day-to-day work to make ourselves better. And again, you can choose how regularly we see them, so we can just decide if we need a meeting. If we don't need a meeting, we can make them more or less frequent based on how things are going.
And sorry to ask this question, but talk to me about your rotations just in a little bit more detail, because I think that's really quite important that some of our apprenticeship programmes offer that rotational aspect, don't they? And some don't. So Rebecca didn't get that in her apprenticeship programme, but you and Scott and Angela did. So talk to me about how that works. So you're given your first rotation, is my understanding, and then what happens to move you through the rest of those rotations? How does that work?
So the first one was based on our applications, actually. So they chose it based on what they thought we might like. And then we do, for me and IT, we do 8-month rotations. I think it might be a bit different for you. But then when about every 6 months, we'll go out to people in the business. We'll find different areas that we're interested in. So it might be an area of the business, a part of AstraZeneca we're interested in, or it might be more aimed at a job role that we're interested in. So for me, I did 2 development and coding based rotations. So I would then, for my third, was looking for something a bit different. So I looked specifically for the role rather than the area as much.
Right.
So I was looking for project management roles.
Okay.
So we get to sort of pick based on what we think is beneficial to us, and we just go and make contact with people.
Right, lovely. Thank you very much. And the same question as I asked Rebecca, any hints or tips that you would want to share with somebody?
I guess for me, it was when you start, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Very similar to what Rebecca said. Everyone's more than happy to answer a question, and we'll always make time for you to answer anything.
Lovely. Thanks, Josh. So, Scott, I'll come to you next, if that's okay. So, tell us a little bit about the HR apprenticeship programme that you're on, and what a day looks like for you.
So I'd always start my day with a bike into work, and then I'll get in quite early, so I'll always have my porridge, and I'll always have a bit of cinnamon with the porridge, and all of the office know that, and it's a bit of a running joke now. But usually I will log on, and again, like Josh, we've got teams that are global, so different time zones. So I'll often spend my sort of morning answering some queries that have come up overnight. And then I've got a bit of a mixture between meetings and work. So the meetings are to discuss some of the projects. So for example, one of the projects that's just been delivered is the Global Onboarding Project. So that is basically a globally consistent way of making sure that all our new starters are brought into the business with the right knowledge, and they're basically set up for success. So that was sort of a large project that was on the go. So we have project planning meetings, then we have updates, so how's it going, any risks, any changes, anything we need to do, and then the rest of the day is often either in other meetings similar or doing the actual work that builds into those projects. So that's often what the day consists of for me. I also have, as I mentioned, 1 day study. So that will be all either from home or from the office, because it's all virtual.
Right.
So I'll often be found in a quiet room, plugging away, either watching tutorial videos of the different units, or sort of submitting my assignments and things like that.
Yeah. And how do you work with other because there are other HR apprentices, aren't there? And how do you guys? I'm thinking particularly from a study aspect. Do you guys sort of try and work together on some of these study tutorials and things?
Yeah, absolutely. So because some of us are at different buildings, and we all tend to schedule our study days at different days or times, because you don't have to just take 1 day. You can take 2 hours each day. But AstraZeneca really does like to make sure that you have that time, and that time is sacred, and you use it. So a lot of us, we won't sort of sit in a room together, but we'll arrange meetings where we'll discuss, right, okay, so that wasn't as clear, okay, so I understand that, so this is what I took away. and we tend to bounce ideas off of each
Yeah.
other. And that's very similar, not just in the study but also in the work. So if we have anything that, for example, because we're on rotations, some of the other apprentices have already done the rotation that I'm on currently. So we can bounce ideas off each other,
Yeah.
saying, look, I'm not sure how this works, and they'll say, right, well, this is how it works, and you
Yeah.
can sort of catch each other up to
Yeah.
speed, which was great.
Yeah, okay, lovely. And just talk to me a little bit about Cambridge, because obviously Josh and Rebecca are here based in Macclesfield. So what are the facilities like? And now you've been to Macclesfield, you've
Absolutely.
been there. So
Absolutely.
what are what sort of facilities do you have in Cambridge?
So Cambridge is a bit of a cluster. So there's lots of offices that are very close to each other. So for me, there are 3 offices that are within about 5 minutes walk of each other. So there's a gym downstairs that you can use. There are 2 restaurants where you can, and I often use them with other apprentices or other colleagues in the business. So we just go and grab some lunch, and you get a full meal for less than a £5. And
your porridge?
well, of course. And so there are great facilities for. There's also large meeting rooms, smaller meeting rooms, and breakout areas where you can just go and meet a colleague for a coffee and
Yeah.
a quick catch up.
And they're
if
quite
you've got
central in
something.
Cambridge, aren't
Yeah,
they? So you
absolutely.
can pop out to the shop. Or...
So I work right on the city centre. It's a 2-minute, if that, walk from the station.
yeah, train station. Yeah.
And you've got all the bus routes and all the big shops that are right next to you, sort of right on your doorstep.
Yeah.
So location-wise, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It really is.
And your rotation is what number rotation out of?
So mine is for my second rotation.
Second rotation.
I slightly different to Josh lengthwise in that mine are a year.
Yeah.
So I spent my first year actually split between 2. So I did 2 days in one team, 2 days in another team, and then my other day was study day.
Okay.
So now I spend my whole week in one team after my rotation. But yeah, so I'm on a 2-year
And
program.
how did you decide, or how was it decided which rotation you would go to next? So you've this second one. Who decided that?
So there's an element of personal preference.
Okay.
So for example, if one of us preferred to be in this team, then we'd have a chat, and because we both have the same manager but we work in different teams and we do different work. So I'd have a chat with them, and they'd say, right, what do you prefer? I'm very data minded, very systems process, so the work that I do benefits sort of the work that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So there's a real element of customisation there.
Yeah, great, lovely. And final question, Scott.
Absolutely.
Hints and tips that you'd like to share with anybody watching.
Of course. So often, as is in with a working environment, not everyone will have the time. Everyone's busy doing their own thing. Not everyone will ask you, do you need help? Can I help you? But once you do ask, then everyone will find time for you, and then everyone will be more than happy to help you.
Yeah, great.
And one more, if I may.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
From someone that didn't actually apply to the HR apprenticeship, I initially applied to the R&D functions.
Yeah.
My second hint and tip would just be open-minded, because you never really know what's around the corner, and what is round the corner could be something that you never even thought about that you may love.
Yeah.
As I've found.
Yeah. Okay. Lovely. Thank you, Scott. So finally, Angela, can I come to you and ask the same question of you? Tell us a little bit about what your day looks like, and the activities and the projects and the teams that the meetings that you get involved in, please.
Let's just say in the morning, I live in London, so we're car sharing with some of my colleagues as well. They live in London. So we tend to talk about sometimes some of the project or the work we have. So when we do enter in, we kind of know what to do and start getting it done. At the moment, I've just finished my time with cell line development, and I'm going to have the opportunity to be with LSBP, which is large scale bioreactor processes. I spent a month with them when I first started, and I really did enjoy it. So it's quite exciting. It's alongside something I'm interested in. I had an opportunity again as well to go to Macclesfield in Manchester, and got to see the kind of big biology set there as well. This kind of the large scale stuff. Manufacturing things they do as well, and it was really interesting. So I'm quite excited to move into this department because it's alongside what I'm interested in. I see myself doing in the future. Um, yeah.
And what about your rotation, Angela? So, how does that rotation piece work? Do you get to choose where you want to go next?
Um, I have to kind of get through all 5 different departments.
Okay.
So I started off with the kind of the beginning part of CCFS, which is EES. I kind of spent my full time there until I moved to CLD. Then they kind of decided that I could have like a role there in EES. So I kind of spent 2 days in the new department and 2 days in one of the old department with some responsibilities. Yeah, and I have that one, the last day to kind of use to study. Yeah, so at the moment it's a 6 month kind of program for each department, as long as I try to get through all of them in a way. So,
Okay. And how do you manage that whole working and studying piece?
It's fun. Just trying to do it where I have the opportunity to do the work, just do them. Try to avoid the procrastination as much as we do with the procrastination. But yeah, it's just trying to make sure and discuss. I mean, I have one-to-one meetings with my mentors, talk about the work. I enjoy spending time with them. We address all the kind of tasks we need to get done. We address the things and what goals I need to have, especially we have loads of goals in terms of where they want to see me at, let's say, at the end of my 6 month program in a certain department. So yeah, it's good to have that time, and they're always willing to have that time to sit with you and discuss, where what they expect and what you as well expect from them as well.
And do you get some support from other apprentices on the same programme as yourself, or that that are in the same rotation as you?
Yeah, in terms of mainly the study, sometimes, and lucky for me, every apprentice in the building, we all started the same course at the same time. So we kind of literally have each other, So we're going through it. We book time to do like revision, especially the day before the exam. You should see us, we're like, we've got papers everywhere, and we try to study, we learn off each other. I think we're even having one now. Exam is coming up in I think the beginning of March. So we're going to start our revision sessions now, just to make sure that we're all ready and prepared for what we will see in those exams. So
Great, lovely. And my final question to you, Angela, is about, as I've asked the other guys, about a hint or a tip that you'd want to share with anybody watching that you would have liked to have known when you first joined AZ.
Yeah, first one is not to worry. I mean, I think we've all said it. Just ask questions. Talk to people. They're ready to talk to you back. Don't feel like you'll be on your own. And the apprenticeship kind of community is very good in terms of they hold different events. They, we were given responsibilities. Like I think we have the apprenticeship charity committee, which kind of run like little events. Like we had the murder mystery night, and it was apprentices who ran that, and we invited other staffs, and they came, and we had a really good turnout. We had bingo night. So yeah, we get involved with the apprenticeship communities which are available as well. So
that's fantastic. Great, lovely. Thanks, Angela. So hopefully we've given you a really good insight now to the types of different apprenticeship programmes we have available, and that no 2 days are the same. Certainly, personally they're not the same, and between the 4 of you guys that you've spoken today, we can understand that nobody's day looks the same, and you really are getting involved in lots of really exciting projects and pieces of work, and real pieces of work, not just things that somebody everybody's dreamt up just to give you something to do. You're getting involved in some really exciting things. So hopefully you've had a real good insight into what a typical day looks like. And as I've said, please do feel to ask any questions. And we'll answer those questions for you. So that really brings us to the end of today's session. I just wanted to remind everybody that our apprenticeship programme vacancies are now live, and they are open now until the 19th of March. So I would encourage anybody that's thinking about an apprenticeship to go and take a look at the careers website. All of the different roles are there for you to read and get a real feel for the types of roles that we've got available. And as I say, the closing date is the 19th of March. So that really leaves me to say thanks very much, guys. Thank you for being here with me on the sofa, and thank you, Angela, for being beamed in from Cambridge. And hopefully you've enjoyed the experience and sharing what your typical day looks like with everybody. So thanks, guys, and hope to see you soon. Bye.
Thank you.